Yeah, I think that is.
Is that black?
Will the Senate please come to order? Our devotional exercise will be conducted by the Reverend Walter Brownridge of the Episcopal Diocese of Vermont. Welcome, Reverend.
Thank you, Mr. Lieutenant Governor. And I'll just add, I am from the Episcopal Diocese of Vermont, and I've been serving since last summer at Christ Episcopal Church directly across the street here on State Street. So thank you. It was a short commute since I came in last night from Burlington. It helps now and then to step back and take a long view. Nothing is worth doing that can be achieved in our lifetime. Therefore, we must be saved by hope. Nothing is true or beautiful or good makes complete sense in any immediate context of history. Therefore, we are affirmed by belief in the arc of the moral universe that bends towards justice. Nothing we do, however virtuous, can be accomplished alone. Therefore, we must be saved by love. No virtuous act is quite as virtuous from the standpoint of our friend or foe as it is from our standpoint. Therefore, we must be comforted by the final form of love, which is forgiveness. So may you find new strength, deeper connections, for we go on. We are not alone. Love relentlessly, for we are all public servants, not masters or monarchs, for we are citizens of a future not our own. Amen. Amen.
Are there any announcements? Seeing none, we have some Senate bills for introduction. S51, an act related to the Vermont Unpaid Caregiver Tax Credit, introduced by Senator Hardy and others. Please listen to the first reading.
S51, an act relating to the Vermont Unpaid Caregiver Tax Credit.
Now you've heard the first reading of the bill, and it is referred to the Committee on Finance. S52, an act relating to consolidation pathways, introduced by Senator Watson. Please listen to the first reading.
S52, an act relating to consolidation pathways.
Now you've heard the first reading, and it is referred to the Committee on Education. S53, an act relating to certification of community-based perennial doulas and Medicaid coverage for doula services. Please listen to the first reading.
S53, an act relating to certification of community-based perinatal doulas and Medicaid coverage for doula services.
Now you've heard the first reading, and it is referred to the Committee on Government Operations. S54, an act relating to voluntary engagement in sex work, introduced by Senator Vyhovsky and others. Please listen to the first reading.
S54, an act relating to voluntary engagement in sex work.
Now you've heard the first reading, and the bill is referred to the Committee on Judiciary. Pass White House. Need my glasses for this one. S31, an act relating to claim edit standards for prior authorization requirements, passed by the House on February 4th, 2025. Please listen to the first reading.
H31, an act relating to claim edit standards and prior authorization requirements.
Haven't heard the first reading of the bill. It is referred to the Committee on Health and Welfare. Orders of the day. We have on the calendar for action H78, introduced on January 30th, 2025. It was referred to the Committee on Government Operations, which reports it has considered the bill and recommends that it ought to pass in concurrence. Please listen to the second reading of the bill.
H78, an act relating to the use of the Australian ballot system in local elections.
I recognize the senator from Rutland for the report of the Committee on Government Operations.
Thank you, Mr. President. So as background for this bill, Title 17, Section 2680 establishes the Australian ballot system for use in local elections. Under current law, a municipality may vote to elect its officers by Australian ballot. If a municipality has not adopted the Australian ballot system, officials are elected from the floor. Recently, however, some municipalities became aware that their practice of using a hybrid system for the election of officers, where some, but not all officers are elected by Australian ballot, was not permitted under a strict analysis of that same title. This bill hopes to provide clarity therein. Section 1 amends Title 17, Section 2680, to clarify that a municipality indeed may vote to elect any or all officers by Australian ballot. This subsection is further amended to provide the express language that shall be used for future municipal votes to adopt the Australian ballot system for the election of any or all municipal officers. Section 2 contains session law that approves the use of the so-called hybrid system as previously approved by the voters of some municipalities. And that session law provisions state that this act shall not invalidate the election of any municipal officer at the 2025 annual meeting. It states further that the failure of a municipality to comply with the new provisions in this act shall not be the basis for a legal challenge to the election of an officer at a 2025 annual meeting. It states that prior municipal votes to elect some, but not all, municipal officers by Australian ballot shall not be subject to challenge for failure to comply with this act or prior provisions. And finally, it states that the election of an officer in a municipality that has previously approved the use of a hybrid system shall not be subject to challenge for failure to comply with this act or prior provisions. Section 3 sets the effective date as on passage. We heard from our legislative counsel, and we heard from no one who opposed the change, or actually the clarification, and we got full support from the Vermont Municipal Clerk, Treasurers Association, Vermont League of Cities and Towns, the Secretary of State's office, and it is timely because this year's town meeting is about 3 weeks away, and many municipalities would appreciate getting this to them in time. The committee vote was 5-0, and we ask for the Senate support. Thank you, Mr. President.
The question is, shall the bill be read a third time? Are you ready for the question? If so, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say no. The ayes have it. And you've ordered third reading of H78. Senator from Chittenden.
Thank you, Mr. President. Given the time-sensitive nature of this, I would move that the Senate suspend its rules and place H78 in all remaining stages of passage.
Senator from Chittenden has moved that the rules be suspended and that H78 be placed in all remaining stages of passage. Are you ready for the question? If so, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and we have placed H78 in all remaining stages of passage. Are there any amendments prior to third reading? Seeing none, please listen to the third reading of the bill.
H78, an act relating to the use of the Australian ballot system in local elections.
The question is, shall the bill pass in concurrence? Are you ready for the question? If so, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and you have passed H78 in concurrence. Senator from Chittenden.
Thank you, Mr. President. Finally, I would move that the action just taken on H78 be messaged forthwith to the House.
The senator from Chittenden has moved that the rules be suspended and that H78 be messaged to the House forthwith. Are you ready for the question? If so, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and you have moved H78 to the House forthwith. That completes the orders of the day. Senator from Chittenden.
Thank you, Mr. President. Pending announcements, I would move that the Senate stand in adjournment until 11:30 a.m. Friday, February 7th.
Are there any announcements? Senator from Washington.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senate Finance will meet at 1:30.
Senator from Washington.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senate Appropriations will be 10 minutes after the call again.
Senator from Rutland.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Senate Government Operations will meet at 1:30.
Senator from Wyndham.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senate institutions will meet at 1:30.
Senator from Bennington.
Mr. President, the Education Committee will meet at 1:30.
Are there any other announcements? Seeing none, the senator from Chittenden is moved. We adjourn until 11:30 Friday, February 7th. Are you ready for the question? If so, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and we've adjourned till 11:30 Friday, February 7th.